That is a premise in chaos theory. It's interesting because a lot of people do not believe that things are coordinated. Everything in life is coordinated. The way I believe, there is nothing random. And I'm going to tell you this incredible story that spans over 38 years. And at the end of the story, you'll actually agree with me. Let me start. Has anybody ever done a puzzle before? All of us. Okay, great. A puzzle, when you first open the puzzle and you dump it out, it's chaos. You have no idea how you're gonna put the pieces together. Guess what? Same premise when it comes to life, when it comes to dealing with this chaos theory thing. There are those seemingly random deviations. And it started for me on January 5th, 1978. I was 6 years old. It was incredible because I was hanging out with my dad. Now, my father was a police officer. Awesome. Man, this guy had blue uniform, looked great. His badge looked shiny, looked awesome. Even had the hat to match. Well, him and his friends were sitting talking. And I was on his lap. He scoots me off his lap and they leave. When they left, my life of chaos began. They came back about 4 hours later. And when they returned, they were shortly followed by this pulsating knock at my front door. A second later, there was this voice, and the voice said, "Everybody, freeze. Get down on the ground." So, no more than a second after that, the door just bust wide open. The hinges came off. Some type of battering ram, followed by a parade of police officers. They were donning tactical gear, and they were pointing long armed weapons at my father and at me. At this point, I said to myself, "Daddy, what you do?" But I realized something. When you're dealing with chaos, you have no idea. But those seemingly random deviations are part of chaos theory, that butterfly effect. It states, a butterfly flaps its wings in the east and causes a tsunami in the west. What's interesting about that fact is you don't have any idea where everything comes from. Now, I told you the story takes place over 38 years. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit though. It's 1990, and in 1990, I meet the girl of my dreams. She's gorgeous. Well, about 2 months later, she gets a call from her mother. Says, "You gotta come home because your uncle's passed away and we're gonna go to the funeral." It's like, okay. So we're driving up to Jersey, from Virginia. Well, the crazy part about the whole thing is traffic was murder. So we missed the funeral. But we do make the repast. And when I get to the repast, I meet her entire family. Now, one of her aunts keeps staring at me. I don't know why. But she eventually comes up and says to me, "You look like somebody, but I just don't know who it is." So I kind of jokingly played it off and said, "Well, you know, a lot of people say I look like David Chappelle without the $100 million. Then she goes, "No, not that." About a second later, the doorbell rings. And I tell the family, I said, "I'll get it, don't worry about it." I get there, and I open the door, and it's my own father. I hadn't seen this man in 5 years. Comes to the door, family says, they start treating him like a king. I'm like, how y'all know him? Well, come to find, my father lived next door to my father-in-law when they were young. He played football with my father in high school. Oh, it gets crazier. Those seemingly random deviations I was telling you about. My dad dated my wife's aunt in high school. Oh, it gets even crazier than that. Remember the bank robbery from 1978? The failed robbery. Well, we were going to memorialize my wife's uncle. His name was Bucky. Bucky happened to be my father's best friend in 1978. Also, Bucky happened to be the getaway driver of my father's bank robbery in 1978. But again, when I tell you, things that appear to not relate actually do. In 2000, I married the woman of my life. The same one I met in 90. Guess what? She happened to be the niece of the same man that was the driver of my father's bank robbery. Well, from there, we had 2 beautiful kids together. I don't believe in coincidence, but I do believe in seemingly random deviations.